Hello ladies and gentlemen, today this is my round guide for Teamfight Tactics. Now this has probably been a long time coming, but I've been wanting to make sure I understand how the rounds go, and I feel like recently, since the patches have been stopping and not coming as quickly, I can revisit a lot of these more basic concepts. This is a good guide to be able to follow up things like the econ guide and to be able to kind of refine not only leveling processes but also generally what you should be thinking about on a round by round basis. First of all, let's explain the rounds. The first round has 3 PvE stages of weak creeps that just die putting stuff in. So the way that the first 3 rounds works is you can either get a gold or item on round 1, and then on stage 2, you can also get a gold or an item. It depends on what happens on stage 1. So if you get a gold on the first stage, you have the chance of getting 2 gold on the second stage. If you get an item on the first stage, you have a chance of getting 1 gold on the second stage. Now what this means is that commonly speaking, going into stage 1, 2, you should always bench your level 2 unit and put in 2 1-cost units you buy from the shop. What this does is it allows you to play wide. What this means is if you get gold on the second round, it allows you to maybe potentially save your 2-cost unit to be able to try to hit a pair or even 3 of a kind going into the next following 1-3 as well as round 2, especially if it's a very powerful 2-cost minion that you may want for your comp regardless. This is the most important thing that people tend to not do as much as they should, and something that you should look out for. Going into round 2, this is where stuff gets pretty interesting. So everyone always asks me, what is the best starting synergy? What's the best starting composition? Round 2, going into round 3, all you want to do is put as much power on the board as you can. What this means is pretty much the stuff you can 2-cost or 2-star, just throw it on the board. You're trying to make sure you get certain synergies together, but certainly don't devalue the importance of just having raw stats on the board. The difference between a 1-star and a 2-star mini at this round is the difference between several hundred health and tens of attack damage, which could be the difference in the beginning. You just want to be able to outstat your opponent. When do you level in this round? It's very common to be able to level in the first 1 or 2 rounds if you're looking to be able to push into a win or win streaking. There are a lot of strategies right now, especially that revolve around pirates or void assassins, where you never level up and you tend to sandbag the first couple levels for an early spatula. That's completely okay. But in general, you want to be able to push levels if you're winning or if you're very powerful. If you find a lot of 2-star units, push levels. You want to be able to try to run with a win streak and try to put pressure on other people by making this win streak go for you. If you're lose streaking, your job is to lose and then figure out a moment in time during the game to be able to start contesting for wins. What happens when you lose is you're essentially creating econ and focusing on trading your life away to be able to get gold and resources to be able to then push yourself back from below after you find a certain power position, power pick, or power unit. The most important thing is you want to make sure that you have a composition on board, and you're looking to make sure that if you don't and you're not aggressively fighting for board, you want to kind of focus on your econ. The most important thing about this round is not to get baited by 3-cost units. There are many 3-cost units you're going to run into during this round that you're going to want to hold on to. But remember, 3-cost units are very greedy to hold on to. They're more than likely, especially given your low level, you're not going to be able to make 2-star versions of them. And especially if you're lose streaking, it's not important to hold these because all you're doing is kind of taking up your bench space as well as making it so you're farther and farther away from gaining interest gold. There are 3-cost units that you want to go for, and so I want to break it up into 3-cost units that you have the items to go for and want to look for and can put in your comp, and 3-cost units that are meta and can fit into most different comps. If you find a lot of Rengars and you're looking for to make a Rengar oriented comp, you want to make sure you at least have BF swords to be able to make the comp work. Generally speaking, Rengar wants GA and Bloodthirster or GA IE to be able to go off, and without at least having, I would say, 2 BF swords or at least 2 component pieces of that composition, even if you find 1 or 2 Rengars, I would not consider holding on to the piece, because you're never, even if you make the 2-star Rengar, you don't have the items to be able to make the comp work. And lastly, the 3rd cost units that synergize with the current units that you have, is something that I forgot to talk about. For instance, if you have 2 knights and you want to potentially go for 4 knights and you find the poppy, that's something certainly that you can hold on to. Lastly, let's talk about the Krogs. So the Krogs are probably the only round that you'll actually ever lose in this game. Krogs fully heal after you kill one unless they're affected by red buff or Morellos. Positioning for Krogs is fairly simple. Well, what you do is you stack on the right side and you focus on the one Krug, and then the left Krugs come to you and you kill them one at a time. Now, the only kind of nuance to this is there's a spot where you can put something like Pike or Vi to be able to distract them and then stun the other side. It's the very front, the top left. Additionally, assassins, if you have any, can be placed at the bottom left corner because they'll jump to the opposite side, which is the right. That's generally the only positioning I have to talk about for this specific PvE round. Round 3. The start of round 3 happens, and round 3 will start with a garage sale and end with a good idea of what you're going to be doing. If round 3 starts where you have 3 knights and 3 void, you will, by the end of this round, have a very good idea of what your comp is going to look like. Generally, on round 3, you'll level on 3-1 or 3-3, depending on if you want to greed or not for more economy. And this is the round where you're going to be able to get consistent 4 cost units. Now, 4 cost units are typically units that you tend to transition and pivot around quite a bit, finding things like Brand, like Draven, Kindred, Sejuani, Gnar, will force your comp to kind of stabilize and kind of work toward a specific end goal. And so while you may come, like I said, in with a garage sale, you'll leave with a very, very good idea at the end of this round what you're gonna do. This is the round where it first starts to matter about losing rounds. Starting from round 3 and moving forward, every round you'll take increasingly higher and higher amounts of damage. What this means is you wanna be able to take the first 2 rounds before the carousel to try to solidify your comp as fast as you can. You're looking to be able to just create a stable comp position and econ to round 4 to hit level 7, spike with your end game composition and figure out what you're gonna do. Depending on how much gold you need to roll to get there or how much you need to work with, that's your job for the round. So if you come in with not a lot of 2 stars, you wanna make sure you can roll to stabilize to get a certain amount of 2 stars, so at the very least you leave round 4 with, I would say, above 30 HP, above 40 HP. And if not, you're gonna need to aggressively roll. As soon as you've stabilized kind of your composition, you have multiple 2 stars, be careful about over rolling this round. Now, you're gonna ask me, how do I know? And the answer is you don't. Generally speaking, it's from due to experience. As soon as your comp stabilizes where you're not bleeding out that much, or you're winning, losing couple rounds, that's good enough to be able to kind of econ. You want to end the round with at least 30 gold because it requires 30 gold to be able to hit level 7 next round. After the carousel round, especially leading into the PvE round, you definitely do not want to roll. This is because when you get into the PvE round, that's a free round for you. Because you can take 0 damage in that round, you econ for free. You're not scared of taking additional damage for the most part, which means that everyone tends to use a PvE round as kind of a stability check before powering up into the round after, which is why it's very common the first stage on every single round, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are where you tend to level and add additional units and create big power spikes for your composition. The end of this round is, the PvE round is Wolves. This round works exactly like Assassins in the sense that they jump to the farthest unit, protect your backline, and balling up, clumping, and is usually the safest way to be able to take this comp out. Round 4 is where everyone levels to 7 and you know your end game comp. Everyone will level at either 4-1 or 4-2. 4-1 is not a perfect interval. Now, what a perfect interval means is since you can only buy XP in multiples of 4, and you gain 2 XP a round, every other round will not be a multiple of 4. So technically, you waste gold if you're looking to upgrade, a little bit of gold if you're looking to upgrade at 4-1. However, usually the loss of gold is worth it to be able to match everyone else in the lobby's power spike on this specific timing. So by 4-1 or 4-2, you should be level 7 and you're looking to fight to stabilize your composition. You'll be aggressively rolling, and maybe this is a good time to ask yourself if you can play for top 4 or you're looking to play for top 2. Top 4 means you're probably going to aggressively roll and you can't really save much econ because you're really fighting to be able to get to that 4th place. But top 2 means you're looking to play and you have enough life or you're strong enough to where you feel like, okay, I can really push for like a top 2, top 3 placing. This means you can be thinking about how you econ differently. If you're looking to place top 2 and you feel strong enough, realize that rolling isn't really that big of a deal. I find out the biggest trap that people come into is rolling for 1 unit, especially a 1 4-cost unit is very, very rare, especially because a lot of other people are gonna be holding the 4-cost unit that you want. And even if they aren't, a lot of times it's not worth rolling down your goal to be able to get that 4-cost unit. It's better to be able to save for levels. Round 5 is where you level to level 8 at 5-1, and this is gonna be your late game comp 90% of the time. It's very rare that you level to level 9, and generally speaking, once you get to 8, you're just gonna look to re-roll and stabilize and kind of make your comp refined. At level 8, you're spending less time trying to aggressively roll because you don't have much gold, you're not saving much. A lot of your time is spent looking at other people's boards and trying to position correctly around their units. The last round is Infernal Drake. You can end up putting each unit equidistant away from each other, 4 in the front and 4 in the back, and generally speaking, this positioning is very, very effective for this specific dragon. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Like, comment, subscribe about what else you're gonna see. Then I'm gonna tell you right now, the next guide I'm gonna put out will be based on late game positioning to be able to accentuate what I kind of broadly described in round 5 for this guide. Look out for it, you're gonna love it.